So let's talk about MoneyFarm acquiring Willis Owen, an historical investment platform in the UK. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how they're going to move in the future, given the current acquisition and what's gonna happen next. MoneyFarm reached about 5 billion in asset under management. This acquisition kind of added about like half a billion.
I was wondering about the numbers in play. 680 million pounds of assets under management from consumers. Doesn't look like a huge number.
Are people pushing toward like a gigantic encompassing finance app that can do a lot for you, and not just a bank? A lot of interesting news this week, from medium-sized round in Italy to some of big news of international founders making moves abroad. So let's start in order, talking about the biggest round of last week. Let's talk about AutoConnexa, insuretech startup raising 2.2 million from CDP VC and a few business angels. So basically AutoConnexa is playing in some of the biggest ecosystem, I would say, in tech, fintech plus insuretech, and in the automotive space, which definitely needs some new ideas basically to evolve. AutoConnexa is basically playing a data sort of playbook where they're trying to actually like gather data and work toward customizing insurance for auto owner. So it's an interesting play. The thesis here is really that the automotive industry is not capitalizing and monetizing on a lot of data that are available. So that's really where this company is working on. So what's your impression, Nick?
I mean, it's as you said, it's an interesting play. The basic idea is, since you have data, you can provide full customization of the insurance policy based on behavior and not just on hard data or statistical data around a specific customer. So that's the play. So we've been hearing about that for quite some time, but still, this is something that is probably not so present in the market yet. I think the interesting signal here is the partnership with Segujo.it. Would be interesting to see how it plays out. But since Segujo is one of the biggest distributors of car insurance, that can be quite a good opportunity for Connexa.
Yeah. And I would say, despite the fact that the automotive market is suffering in the past years, I mean, the cars are still moving, people are still taking their cars. So I think the opportunity is still there and the market is for sure alive. So that's an interesting way to kind of ameliorating a service and actually make it evolve. That's really interesting.
In a sense, I think the car insurance is one of the thriving part of the insurance market, because people have to have car insurance. So there is a lot of competition there, but there are margins. And if you manage to offer a more personalized product, that basically means better price discrimination and distribution across the various risks that you have in your portfolio. And you can play with it. You can optimize for lower risk, so better drivers, or higher premiums but high risk. So you can do, I think, as an insurer, pretty interesting games with your portfolio. So
awesome.
Interesting.
All right, let's keep talking about acquisitions. We've been talking about acquisition, feels like, in a lot of episodes right now. So let's keep going. Apparently, Italian funded companies are on an acquisition spree across the border. So let's talk about MoneyFarm acquiring Willis Owen, an investment platform, basically very famous and an historical investment platform in the UK. The company right now, MoneyFarm, reached about 5 billion in asset under management. And I believe that this acquisition kind of added about like half a billion, 680 million pounds. So a great play. So MoneyFarm has been very, very active in the past, and with this acquisition is definitely moving toward different markets, introducing different product also. So let's dive a little bit deeper into this. But what is your first impression, Nick, on this deal?
Well, it's nice to see MoneyFarm keeping growing and pushing. This is not the first acquisition. I think, but I think you have more information about it.
Yep.
I was wondering about the numbers in play. 680 million pounds of assets under management from consumers doesn't look like a huge number. I mean, MoneyFarm was a 4 point something billion asset manager. It was, I think, still a small player from probably some dimensions. Less than 1 billion is kind of a small player. So if you think about the fees, how many fees can you command on financial services? 1%, 2%. So it's a 10 million pounds company.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about the numbers here. So
Good point.
you look at 680 million and you say, wow, that's a huge number. But still, those are not revenues. The revenues are the fees that you can take from those assets. So
yeah.
Please.
Yeah, so to give some more context. So MoneyFarm has been acquiring companies since actually 2017 with a few different companies playing in different sectors. So starting in 2017, that was a really interesting acquisition. So they acquired Earnest AI, which is an AI applied to personal banking. So in 2017, that was pretty forward-looking, I would say. The company doesn't exist anymore. I'm not sure exactly how much technology they integrated, but for sure there was some impact and some value there. Then moving on, in 2018, they basically acquired a German company, Vamo Finanz, which essentially is personalizing financial advisory for retail. So that's another interesting way to maybe, and we can talk about it, move on across different markets by acquisition. And then of course, Profile Pensions in 2022, which is essentially focusing on the pension market in the UK and providing customized pension plans. Of course, technology empowered with different price levels, different product. So definitely cutting across not only geographies, but also different markets, I would say, to a certain extent. So it's a very interesting way to, so my impression was really to not only that a geographic expansion was happening, but it was also a different dimension expansion into different demographies. So MoneyFarm is really probably not really catering the over 50s or over 55 pension. The pension company is really focused on that. So they're really moving across different demographics as well. So I thought it was pretty interesting and pretty smart moves in play right now.
Interesting. Very nice. So, the analyst within me was taking a look at the numbers of Willis Owen.
Yeah.
So there were, on LinkedIn, there are 17 people associated with the company. So it's true that they can command a 1% fees on $500 million. It's a 5 million revenue stream for 17 people. It's more than 1%, it's 2%, it's 10. So, I mean, you get the numbers.
Yep.
Kind of an interesting boutique play there.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice.
And just to give also some context on MoneyFarm was founded back in 2011. Basically, they raised up to now, I think their last round was a Series D in 2022. They raised about 187 in aggregate, 187 million. It's a Series D, so they're pretty advanced. So they're probably they are scaling like crazy and trying to do a lot of work to reach to gain even more velocity as more than they are right now. So very interesting integration. And the first thing I thought when I saw this is kind of our discussion we had about on the other side, Satispay kind of adding investment products. And here we have MoneyFarm kind of expanding in pension and other products. So Plus, if we really want to stretch the reasoning, let's talk about Revolut adding everything to their platform. Investing, crypto, gold, saving, all sort of things. So, are people pushing toward like a gigantic encompassing finance app that can do a lot for you, not just a bank? Yeah. So that was my thought. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you play the fee game, it's a matter of you try to expand the horizon as much as possible. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So that's yeah. I mean, a lot to think about MoneyFarm. Honestly, it's gonna be interesting to see exactly how they're gonna move in the future, given the current acquisition and what's gonna happen next. So we're definitely like keeping an eye on this. That's very interesting. But definitely kudos to the team. A very beautifully executed strategy moving across sectors. So that's very interesting. All right, so let's talk about iGenius, Nick. I think also there was a pretty big and interesting play. So just roughly, iGenius unveiled Colosseum, one of the world's largest NVIDIA DGX AI supercomputers, of course, with the NVIDIA Grace Blackwell superchips. Okay, let's let it sink for a second, and then
that was hard. So
yes.
I think what you mean is basically the latest and greatest from NVIDIA in terms of GPUs and computation for AI, right?
Correct.
From what we know, and that's interesting.
So yeah. I mean, first of all, NVIDIA is kind of in the back selling shovels to the people digging for AI, and these guys, I don't know. They're just on a ramp, and nothing is going to change it. I was checking the numbers of how exactly NVIDIA revenues like increased dramatically starting in 2022, and you can see pure exponentiality there on the GPUs and not on the other services that they have. So like par none. That's really the core driver right now for NVIDIA. So very, very interesting. And having said that, yeah, we have some Italians playing that game, so that's interesting, yeah.
Yep. So iGenius is probably the prominent Italian startup trying to play the big AI game. To just briefly recap the story this year, they launched one of the first Italian first fully trained AI models. I think a 7 billion LLM trained on Italian and on a proprietary dataset. And then they announced that the goal to raise a big round, more than 600 million, in order to invest and play the big league in terms of models and LLMs and products. And now they unveiled this partnership. It's not clear. The details are not clear. So we have to stay vague as well. But the basic idea is they partnered up with NVIDIA to create this data center based in Europe somewhere. So there is no mention around the specific country. With, I think, what they tell as a sizable computing power, so thousands of Blackwell GPUs ready to work, and they will use it to provide the models for sure, to offer hosted solutions to the customers. And they have a hint about the strategy to go after highly regulated markets. So AI for highly regulated markets. So that means probably going after a lot of EU customers, because highly regulated equal EU.
Absolutely.
That's the feeling I have from the news.
That's super interesting. Also, you were mentioning that, of course, probably physically these computers are going to be like in Italy somewhere. So that's probably one thing, which raised the question that I think we've talked about that before, of sovereign AI. So basically, for the listening, sovereign AI is just basically saying that, it's one of the way of interpreting how AI should evolve, especially in the public administration and for the government. So the idea is that in order to protect, kind of national security issues, the idea is to have like a local country-specific AI, which is hyper-regulated and hyper-protected, that can actually be deployed without any risk of having servers abroad and outside the national boundaries. So it's an issue for sure. Privacy is an issue. Data sharing is an issue. All the prompt that OpenAI is receiving from all across the world, God knows only what's in there. And
it's not just about data, just about what you're asking AI to analyze and see and know, and that's probably the key point.
Yeah.
You're right.